Alright, I'm recording this in a very weird way because I broke my tripod and also my ring light, which was kind of like a 2-in-1 situation. So I'm kind of filming this on the inside of a cardboard box. Have fun imagining that. Anyways, let's start with my sketchbook tour. Now I will say, before we start, none of the characters that you have been seeing from my shorts are going to be in this sketchbook. This sketchbook is from 2018 to 2019. It's very different than the things that you've been seeing in 2024 and 2025. So that's my little warning. If you came for more Kieran and Rabbit and Cola and them content, oops, sorry, I wasn't working on that in high school. I didn't even know that existed. I'm pretty sure I had something against fairies in high school, so yeah. Anyways, now to commence with the sketchy book. The very first page, I was a big fan of the show Lucifer at the time, which if you've never seen Lucifer, imagine there was like an episode of Bones where everything was the same, except for it was exclusively based in LA, and also Lucifer was just there for no reason. He's just there. Anyways, one of the characters from Lucifer, I think this is just random note. This is a character named Miles Habit, which you will be seeing more of, and he is part of the How to Deal with Dead People project, so yeah. Okay, so this is a page dedicated to random crap. Most of these pages are dedicated to random crap, not gonna lie. That and creepypasta for some reason. But anyways, this is Lamare. He's from the Empire project, but this is him. He's got some face scars, because he does. Yeah, he's pouring Kool-Aid all over himself. 100% that's what that is. Kool-Aid. Anyways, moving on. Yeah, you will be seeing a lot more of him because he was like a big character I was working on at the time. Also, he has albinism, so that's why he's like kind of pale and sickly looking, which I can't say much because I have the literal same skin tone as him, but whatever. This is the first instance of me drawing creepypasta. My main character from Empire, Asterr, and Lamare, but as the main characters from the other thing I was working at the time, How to Deal with Dead People. So yeah, it's kind of a joke with myself, which is most of what this is. But yeah, I love jokes with myself. No one else ever gets them, and I find them to be the funniest shit ever. Anyways, my friend drew this for me. These are some alien creatures I designed. More alien creatures that I designed. Clearly, I have a weird thing with turning humans into animal hybrid things. Okay, so this is essentially, I just wanted to make a ripoff of Applebee's, and I called it Pear Wasp, and I thought that was funny. Which, honestly, it is funny, so these are random sketches I did. This is for a Spanish project that we did in Spanish class. Shocker, I know. The project was essentially to make a children's book, but write it in Spanish. And me and my partner did that. Yeah, these are just the characters. Unfortunately, I don't have the book anymore. I actually looked for it for this video, but I can't find it, which sucks, but oh well. So these are, no, that's Lamare. This, and I think these, are random people from my class. This one looks vaguely like her. These two, nothing. It doesn't even look close. Random character from another project, neither Empire or How to Deal with Dead People. That one was actually like, it never had a title, so I never was going to share it anywhere. It was set in the Victorian era, and I thought it was neat, so I got obsessed with like Victorian aesthetics for a while. Okay, more portraits of my friends. This guy, this is an actual picture of him that I still have as his contact photo in my phone. He is eating a deer heart. He's not actually eating it, but he does have blood smeared on his chin to make it look like he was. And yes, it was a real deer heart. That's my friend. That's my other friend. I'm not going to tell you their names because, like, I'm mean like that, I guess. These are more random pictures. Wow, another creepypasta. Shocking. Lamare, Asterr, cool, featuring that one guy who got his head chopped off. More Asterr and Lamare. Okay, and then these are me and my friends, but as boys. This one was supposed to be me. Yeah, I am guilty of murder, apparently. This picture is extremely detailed because I was at a relative's house and I didn't feel like engaging in conversation, so I simply drew this instead. yeah, you can tell I didn't want to talk to anybody because of how detailed it is, and that I didn't get lazy halfway through and stop. Clothing slash outfit designs. I guess clothing and outfit designs. I did not write those poems. I ripped them off of Pinterest like any good artist would. Hair practice. I have always struggled with hair. It's still something I struggle with today. And then my grandpa thought that was a girl, and so I drew an arrow pointing to it that said not a girl. This was thumbnailing for a comic that I never made. More thumbnailing for a comic that I never made. Oh, right. I actually included this in the sketchbook because I thought it was funny. My mom is always asking me to not draw, like, spooky stuff, and she specifically asked me one day to draw a fairy for her. So I drew a fairy, and if you know anything about my work, that's really funny. Random outfit designs, I guess, question mark. Blueprints for things, I'm not really sure. This is Quincy Laturd, obviously. This is Asterr. I used to do a lot of like colored pencil stuff, but I don't anymore because I lost my touch with it, but I used to be pretty good. Some dancing figure drawings. Cool. Because I did cotillion in high school, and I actually kind of liked it. Don't tell anyone I said that. It was fun, okay? And that has seeped into my drawing because I draw a lot of people dancing. It's a problem. I don't know how else people interact. This just made me laugh because it looks just like a female version of Kieran 6 years before I came up with Kieran, which still, it just made me laugh. Literally everything is the same except for the eye color, which, fun fact about Kieran, his eyes used to be green and then I changed them because they didn't fit his aesthetic. This is Asterr and Lamare on something called a soki. Sokis are essentially just fucked up horses with 6 legs. So, yeah, now you know. I made them up. More sokis. Asterr and her twin brother, aka the important one and the one without a chair. They are twins, so they have the same birthday. And this is their birthday dinner. That's the entire joke. Okay. Some more colored pencil stuff. Lamare and his daughter. So this, I was really bored in study hall one day, and I was like, what if I just, like, had my characters just, like, sign their names? And so I did that. Kind of tell this was all written by the same person, aka me. But yeah, anyways, but the joke here is that Lamare can't read or write, so that's his signature. Random sketch. More creepypasta drawings for some reason. This is my friend's character, Ophelia. And this is Asterr and Ophelia's lemonade stand. This is when Asterr is a lot younger. She's like 8 in this. But, it is $200 per molecule. Everyone can afford that, obviously. So, yeah. This is one of the things I had to cover up, obviously, because it was way too bloody for YouTube. Anyways, more creepypasta drawing. Wow, shocker. Some portraits that I never finished because I didn't like how Asterr was turning out. Yeah. And I'm never gonna finish it. More bloody stuff that I covered up because YouTube. This is Miles and Leah from How to Deal with Dead People. And I was gonna write something interesting here, like from the manuscript or something. But I didn't because I was playing Red Dead Redemption at the time. And I thought that the peak, the pinnacle of comedy was Uncle saying, "I have lumbago." Which, honestly, I think it still is the pinnacle of comedy, and anyone who says otherwise is just wrong. More dancing. Lamare with a crown. This is Asterr and Lamare, but in a cold environment, because I thought it would be funny, because they're usually in, like, a desert. And Lamare put himself in a sleeping bag. Okay, this is kind of funny, but some people who know Undertale told me that this is actually a character from that game called Grillby. Now, at the time that I drew this, I did not know that. I am not familiar with Undertale. I am interested in it as someone who has a literal degree in making video games. I've always wanted to play it, but, like, I've never actually played it. So, but yeah. This is Lamare. Again, and one of his kids. Very cute picture, I guess. He doesn't have wings because someone chopped them off, so he's very proud that his kid does. Creepy twins, little Batteray, Quentin, who knows who Quentin is? Well, I do, but it would be hard to explain. This is my friend's character giving a flower crown to Batteray and her little brother. More Batteray pictures. I don't know who these people are. This is a cover for a sketchbook or not a sketchbook. I was on the yearbook committee. Well, let's just say I really didn't like the cover of the yearbook, so I drew that to complain to my mom about how ugly it was. Okay. Like I said before, I did a lot of colored pencil work when I was in high school because I was good at it back then. I'm not anymore because I guess I lost my touch with it. I'm not really sure, but that's what this is. I'm not sure where this is from. I think it's from Ghost in the Shell, but I'm not sure. This is something I messed up and then painted over and then put magazine cutouts on because I thought it was funny. And you know what? It is funny. So, I don't know where this is from. I found this picture on Pinterest, shocker, and I cannot re-find it again. If anyone knows where this woman is from, I will thank you forever because I genuinely don't know. And she, has haunted this sketchbook because people are always like, oh my god, who is this? And I'm like, I don't know. Zombie that I didn't finish, shocker. This is right after I watched that first animated Spider movie. And I got obsessed with the 1930s because I thought Spider Noir was the coolest design ever. So that's what this is. I think I actually drew this as I was watching the movie, but I'm not sure. Something that I was going to work on called Gods of New York, but I never did because it was going to be a comic, and I am not very good at planning comics. I've tried to do a webcomic before. It was actually on Webtoon. I'm not going to link to it because it's bad, but it was there, and I updated it 3 times, and I burnt myself out so bad, it's not even funny. I might do another one day. It won't be about Kieran and the Rabbit and them because I want that to be a novel. But anyways, long story short, I have done comics before. It just burnt me out really bad. Okay, this is when I really thought I was going to do this. The concept was 30s grunge detective vibes, and so yeah, just essentially that's what this is. Also, slight warning, there's a picture of somebody getting shot in here that I didn't cover up because it doesn't really show anything. It's just a red smudge. But anyways, just a little warning. But yeah, Gods of New York. Wow, yay 30s. Wow, look, it's a being shot scene. Yeah, I guess he gets shot at some point. I don't really remember why, but I know she works for the mob, so that probably has something to do with it. I don't know what this is. Don't ask. I think I was bored. I have no idea. I do weird shit when I'm bored. This is the guy who's just a torso that I covered up. This was a cool dress I saw on Pinterest. I really like the belt. Now look, it's the Supernatural fan art I talked about in the beginning. Yeah, I drew Jack from Supernatural because he made me sad. Anyways, wow, more 1930s stuff. I think I was practicing just random pose work in here. I'm not really sure. It's really funny because you can really tell when I used references and when I didn't because everything always looks better with a reference. If anyone tells you don't use references, they are lying to you and they want to see you fail. More 1930s stuff. More 1930s stuff. I really liked how this expression turned out. I thought it was really cute. More 1930s stuff. I don't know why he looks so weird, but he does. I gave him a weird haircut, but that's fine. More 1930s stuff. I tried to draw an old car here. I failed miserably. And now we get into thumbnails that I never finished for said 1930s thing because I didn't know that you were supposed to write outlines for stuff. Okay, genuinely, I didn't realize you're supposed to write outlines for things that you wrote back then. So, this is just a mess of random ideas, pretty much. But I got really good at drawing people smoking cigarettes. So, yeah. This is really funny to me because my friend told me that I could make a lot of money drawing furry fan art and furry art and stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, I could totally practice with Zootopia characters. And that's how that turned out. Didn't turn out great, so I'm not very good at drawing furries. I never have been. I've tried many times. They always either end up looking like this or like a normal animal. So, yeah. more 1930s stuff. Wow. More 1930s stuff. Batter and Lamare. Some stuff from the 1830s. That's a joke. I don't actually know what year this took place on, but it took place sometime. Maybe the 1830s. I think it was actually the 1850s. I can't really remember. Anyways, this picture makes me laugh because on my next sketchbook, I have a full-size picture of it, like in the front. And yeah, it looks a lot better in that sketchbook than it does in this one. Some random thumbnails again. Wow. More random thumbnails. This is some notes that me and my friend wrote to each other back and forth in class. Shocker. Random thumbnails, giant spaceship, and that is the end of the sketchbook. I think I was feeling depressed when I wrote that. That is my first sketchbook. That is the sketchbook number 1 from 2018 to 2019. But yeah, like and subscribe, I guess. I don't know how YouTube works.